Now we're talking about a bit of a phenomena, I think it'd be fair to say now. Taylor Swift, let's get to it. At the weekend, we witnessed the biggest NFL Super Bowl in history. This is the Kansas City Chiefs beating the San Francisco 49ers. So that was the match. Worldwide viewing figures, thanks largely to the players, of course, the game itself. Also, the presence of one woman who was there cheering on her boyfriend. We are, of course, talking about Taylor Swift. She's worth a staggering $1.1 billion. That's around 900 million pounds. As her fame continues to rise, we have been looking back through the breakfast archives. So 15 years ago, at the age of 19, she was on the sofa chatting to John Sopel and Louise Minchin.
I'm really excited because I'm about to go on my first headlining tour in the US. So all the dates that we put up have sold out within minutes, and I'm so excited. It's like I just can't wait to go out there and headline for the first time, and it's really a goal of mine to tour the world and play in all kinds of different countries and, you know, do a tour here.
I think it's fair to say it's gone pretty well so far. Successful, yes. Her latest concert tour became a sensation, crashing ticketing sites, selling more than 4.3 million tickets. You can see the numbers there. That brought in more than £800 million. The tour in total expected to generate a record £1.7 billion, 60 shows in all. That is a new record. That's according to Polestar, which tracks music sales. So let's go back in time again. When she was here on Breakfast, a long time ago, the one thing she was most interested in was the British accent.
I especially love it because they all pronounce my name Taylor here.
Oh, yes, OK.
Instead of I'm used to hearing it Tyler. That's how I'm used to hearing it.
Oh, really?
So, you know, when they're outside the radio stations chanting, they're like, Taylor. And it's so pretty.
I love the way Americans find our accents pretty and cute. She's certainly done brilliantly well. We're joined now by Cleo Doyle, who's a lecturer in early modern literature at Queen Mary University. Morning, Cleo.
Morning.
And Dave Forbert, who's the founder of Swiftageddon. This is a club night which plays non-stop Taylor Swift music. Good morning to you, Dave, as well. Cleo, let's start with you. So, hold on. You are a lecturer in early modern literature, and Taylor Swift now comes into this?
Yes. Well, so I have a PhD in early modern literature, but throughout getting that PhD, I was listening to Taylor Swift and thinking about her lyrics and wanting to use my academic skills to sort of close read them and analyze them. So that's sort of how it happened. But yeah, it is a weird combination of things.
Well, OK, so for anyone who hasn't missed the Taylor Swift phenomenon but hasn't bought into it, hasn't heard her music or wouldn't know her songs if they did hear it, how do her lyrics warrant being studied by someone like you?
Well, I mean, I think I'm really interested in that question of what warrants being studied. And I think so in my teaching of Taylor Swift, what I ask my students to do is to think about the discipline of English literature as a discipline that's sort of giving us certain texts and way of reading texts and saying, this is what you need to know to have a degree in English. And so that's what I get my students to talk about in class is what is it about this Taylor Swift lyric that deserves being studied in the university setting? But I think my answer to that is that I think that her use of language is really interesting, and that she builds really interesting connections between her songs. And there's a really sort of deep kind of intertextual connection between the different songs.
And very much related to what her own life as well. Dave, when you're at Swiftageddon, do you think about her lyrics and the quality of her lyrics, or is it just the tunes that are just banging, basically?
It's a combination of both. Traditionally, I'm more of a music person, but Taylor, lyrically, I think there is no one better than her right now. She has an absolute gift for taking sort of universal emotions that everyone's felt, but expressing them in kind of quite a subtle, clever way. She's a genius, I think, musically and lyrically.
A lot of people talk, don't they, Dave, about authenticity with music stars. Again, you know, there'll be people who are not that familiar with her work. How does she rate in that respect?
Oh, she's 100% authentic. I mean, she's described it in the past as sort of her songwriting being her opening her diary to everyone to see. And she's never shied away from sort of, talking about her vulnerabilities, her worries, as well as, her successes and, being lucky and unlucky in love and life and everything, really.
Cleo, what does it tell us? The Super Bowl moment, which depending on where you look at it from, she kind of became almost a bigger story than the Super Bowl. How do you contextualize that? Has that ever happened before?
Well, I'll be honest, to me, she's always a bigger story than the Super Bowl. I don't know very much about sports. But yeah, we are living in a really interesting moment with Taylor Swift where it feels like she's sort of omnipresent in the culture. And I honestly don't know why that is, but I'm really fascinated in sort of thinking about it and studying it, I guess.
Does she cross generations? And I ask that as an older person, but does she have that ability?
Well, I will say a lot of the listeners to my podcast, Studies in Taylor Swift, write in and say, I'm a middle-aged man and I love Taylor Swift. So I would say anecdotally, it seems like it.
Dave, we should talk about as well your favourite album. I mean, for anyone who is listening and watching this morning and has just said, I don't know her music, I don't get it. Give me one song that you could say to someone today, go away, open mind, hear this, and it will give you an inkling as to why she has such a big fan base and passionate fan base.
To me, I think I always advise people to start with Red, the album, because it's the moment where she kind of crossed the line between, she obviously began in country and rock and she moved towards pop. So they really aren't going to cheat. There's two songs I think you should listen to if you're a newbie, which is the opening track, State of Grace, which is like this driving rocker that Springsteen could have written. And then, of course, at the other end, you've got We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, one of the greatest pop songs ever written. And then also a third one, the All Too Well 10-minute version, a 10-minute incredible song. It's 4 chords in it, no chorus, and it just draws you in. It's amazing.
Cleo, same one to you.
I mean, I completely agree about the All Too Well 10-minute version. That's by far my favorite Taylor Swift song, and I think it's a masterpiece.
Thank you both very much, Dave and Cleo. We should say, because obviously Taylor Swift haven't been on the programme before. She's probably watching the programme now, wherever she is. So the invitation is there. Taylor Swift back on the BBC Breakfast sofa in, what year is it now?
2024.
2024. That feels right, doesn't it? I'm just putting the invitation out there, officially, OK? There it is.
You'll know a lot more than the year, won't you, when Taylor Swift comes onto the sofa?
I think it should happen. I definitely think it should happen.
It is 9 minutes to 9. The television